Okay, we're back for part two of the mixing process here, and we've already gone through and prepped the mix by getting a good mix, just using faders and pan pots, using clip gain to trim or boost any other things that needed some level. We've created aux buses for all the big um, groups, things like drums, the double guitars, clean guitars, summing down 2 channels of bass to a mono, so on and so forth. We've also gone in and we've added the kit plugins, brand new BBN73, which is emulating the 1073 channel strip from Blackbird. And we've added a little bit of gain and used the mic input and saturation mode here. But we have not engaged any EQ. So I want to move backwards now and start treating this stuff like channel by channel. All right, so we have drums right here. Let's bring in a compressor, and I'm going to use another compressor plugin from Kit Plugins, and this is the core compressor. So instead of like going in and EQing the kick and the snare and all that stuff and compressing each channel, we're starting by just treating the bus. And this is a really, really versatile compressor. It can be very heavy-handed and really crush things when you need them up, like a lot of compression, that like overdriven sound, and then it has a lot of finesse to it. So it reminds me kind of like an 1176 where, you know, the really wide variable attack and release. The body adds a little bit of like what you would expect, you know, some body, some warmth, and, you know, some girth to it. And then it also has this mix button on the bottom to make it like a parallel situation where if you want to slam the compressor really hard, but you don't want the entire committed sound of that compressor, you can blend it like a parallel situation down here. Threshold is up here. You can drive the input gain and the output. And they do have this button that, you know, it's a cheater button, but it's great, is the crush thing. Let's listen to what that does to the drums.
Stars, that tomorrow is just a day away.
All right, let me just get this. So it's pretty slammed, and that was at like the 50%. Here's like the compressor fully on. So that's very aggressive, very heavy-handed kind of sound. But I don't want to get that heavy-handed yet because we have so much of the mix to get through. So why don't we just, you know, take this crush button off and treat it like a normal compressor. On the drum bus, I'm going to go with slow attack, medium fast release. And let's start all the way up just so we can hear how it sounds. Drop the threshold. All right, so this is the drum bus without anything on it, the original recording. And now we'll engage the Neve. Now the core compressor.
Day, whoa, whoa.
The drums are really smacking, they're fat. I mean, and we haven't even gone in and touched anything else on the individual tracks. So let's now look at the bass, because this is how I always approach it. Like, we're building a house from the foundation up. And usually the drums and the bass are going to compete for the same type of real estate with the low end. So first thing we'd like to do is at least get a blend of the different mics. We have the bass cabinet, which was mic'd up, and then bass DI.
Tomorrow is just
So I like the sound of both, but I'm going to favor the amp sound because it's just got a little more bark and grit to it. And then I'll fold in the lower, or a little bit lower, the bass DI, which is the clean tone of the bass. There's a little bit of distortion happening. That could be because we're hitting this thing too hard.
When we held each other.
All right, so let's go to a compressor now. We can just use some standard. We'll go to some of the universal audio stuff here. Definitely, you go with like a black face 1176, or you can go with an LA2. Let's go with the LA2. This is one of my favorite ones, especially the gray. It's just got so much like beef to it.
That tomorrow is just a day away, away. Whoa.
With this, I'm going to hit it about 3 dB of compression. Optical compressors like this, they're really slow moving as far as like really slow attack, really slow release. And the harder you hit these, the more you're going to hear of a pumping. And we just want this to give a little bit of squeeze and use these the gain output to kind of really bring some more of that tube sound in.
That tomorrow is just a day away, away. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Now, this is great. Like, we haven't even touched the EQ for the drums and the bass, and they're really locking together really nice. Where the bass sounds nice and fat and growly, the drums are punchy and little crunchy sounding, and nothing is fighting right now, which is great. So we're just going to keep moving. This is where people get too hung up on focusing on one thing at a time versus like how's it all going to sound together. Like, just get it about where you get a nice little push of where things are starting to sound good, and move on, and then go back. So we're working like the macro down to micro type of approach. Let's go to the clean guitars.
That tomorrow is just a day away, away.
Now, I love this LA2 on guitars as well, so let's just bring that sucker right over.
That tomorrow is just a day away, away.
So what I'm doing, I'm using this gain knob. Whatever I'm taking out or away, I'm adding back with the gain button right here.
That tomorrow is just a day away, away. Whoa, Remember the time when we had.
This is sounding great. So let's listen to the difference. We just take these things off real quick.
That tomorrow is just a day away, away. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
So as you're adjusting your gain staging again, now the gain staging is going to where things are being inflated, so it's going to start changing the overall levels of things. So you're going to have to kind of go back and start putting other faders into the mix, like remixing what your balances were from when you first started, because they're all kind of getting inflated and we have to find the space for them. Now, as of now, we just got all that processing done by just treating the buses. Let's go to the heavy guitars, because that's going to be a big one. And I am going to bring this over and put that on that one right now.
That tomorrow is just.
Let's go to the hook. So, right here.
'Cause time and time again. again. Close our eyes. And time again. We never realize. 'Cause time and time again. We close our eyes.
So you can see now our two bus for the tracks is really starting to get hot. So we're gonna check that out right now.
'Cause time and time again, we close our eyes. And time again, we never realize. 'Cause time and time again, we throw our lives away. Each and every day, it's time to live our lives again. And now is the time to see everything you wanted. To be, it's you and me.
Here's that other guitar. It's literally a doubled rhythm part. Comes in on the second part or the second verse, as well as this other blingy one down here. Tremolo. Little palm mutes that are happening. So why don't we use, we'll just use something in Pro Tools, like a real easy.
Don't let go out now. It's you and me, baby. Don't let go. 'Cause time and time again, we close our eyes. And time again, we never realize.
All right, this is sounding really, really good.